What is going on, all of my beautiful Commanders family? Welcome back to another live edition of the Full Command Show. We're here to talk about, man, feels like everything. I mean, I don't have any, sometimes when I go live, I don't really have one planned subject. Planned subjects, one, two of them, that's good for videos. When the live stream comes around, it's just because I want to talk to you guys. And there's so much going on in the NFL right now. We got the Maxx Crosby trade rumors, which are looking less and less like rumors and more like true rumblings. Could one of the NFL's best defensive superstars be on the move? Did Adam Peters actually try to fleece the Raiders for a first and a third? We also got to talk about Terry McLaurin. Is it his final year with the Washington Commanders coming up this season? What about Brandon Aiyuk? Is he going to be making his way down to the nation's capital next year? We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more in this stream. So, guys, if you are joining me, make sure that you hit the like button. That is how we get this video out into those magical YouTube algorithms that I'm still trying my best to understand. With every passing day, I feel like I learned a little bit more. But then all of a sudden, they'll just hit the reset button. Every 2 or 3 months, they do that, and we get sent back to zero. So we're in a good run right now. We got some momentum. That's for you guys. You guys deserve the round of applause for that. But as we continue to go on, and I'm just realizing, am I extra zoomed in today, or am I always this big in the camera? Normally when I'm streaming, I got my screen all condensed because I have other tabs open. Right now, this is a rare moment where I have myself up full screen, and I look pretty enlarged. I don't know if it's normally like that, but I guess it is. HTTR from Brian Ingram. Brian is probably the guy who comments first on my videos. I would say like probably 85 to 90% of the time. It's always the same thing. So Brian, appreciate you as always. You know that. Yo, what's going on, Eon? How we doing today? The G-Man from Hermit Rob, what's going on? How you doing this evening? Don't see anyone giving up a pair of ones plus for Maxi. No, I mean, okay. So I do see someone doing it. I don't see the Commanders doing it. According to the latest reports, the Cowboys have already offered it. They've already offered 2 first-round picks, and the Raiders are holding out to see if they can get another player in return. You know it, bro. Yeah, Brian, appreciate you as always. So, guys, basically what's going to happen is I'm going to wait for probably like maybe 5 or 10 minutes into the stream. Again, if you guys are joining me in the live chat, make sure you're dropping comments as we go throughout everything we got to talk about. Also, hit the like button because that's how this video gets out there. This stream gets out there, I should say. And once we give it about maybe another 3 to 5 minutes or so, I'm going to talk about Terry McLaurin's contract, which I know might sound boring, but there were a lot of reports today. Really, it was Matthew Berry kind of doubling down on something that he had said back at the NFL Combine, which is that he's confident this is going to be Terry McLaurin's last year with the Washington Commanders. So we're going to start this video off by exploring that subject. And the main thing that I want to do is I want to address how his contract and the cap actually works. And I get that that's not like the coolest thing in the world. Like, it would be much cooler if we're talking about Jaden Daniels winning MVP, something we can all understand. But the whole reason that I want to talk about this subject is actually because I feel like there's not a great grasp on how contracts and things like that work. People are saying, why don't you just restructure the contract? That's like the easy button fix. Well, it's not really that simple. So again, I want to walk through it, explain the steps that go into it, and then we can talk about if the Commanders will actually restructure Terry, or if it might be a little more punitive than what people seem to believe at the moment. Lions season is in full effect. We talking about Maxx Crosby here? Is that what this is in reference to? It is Lions season. I like to call it silly season. Hope Dallas does just that. So this is the thing with Maxx Crosby and the Cowboys, right? I mean, they trade Micah Parsons for 2 first-round picks, and they get Kenny Clark. And then the Raiders want 2 first-round picks and a player because they are using the Micah trade as the benchmark. So the Cowboys set the benchmark for themselves. With all due respect to Maxx Crosby, who is one of the best football players in the world, he's not quite as good as Micah Parsons, and he's older than Micah, and Micah was a quote-unquote homegrown talent. He was drafted by the Cowboys. It's just, it's so Cowboys. And don't get me wrong, I would hate it if Maxx went to the Cowboys because Maxx is phenomenal, and Maxx and Quentin Williams is ridiculous, but even still, they would just be unironically kind of not even back to step one. They'd be back at step -1. If Terry leaves in 2026, then if there isn't a huge problem to be solved, draft a wide receiver in the first round in 27. They're definitely going to have to bolster the wide receiving core. I mean, just it's this year and next year, they should be aggressive, whether it is the draft, whether it's the free agency. No, I was late. Asher, we're 5 minutes and 6 seconds in, so you're not that late. Scale, what's going on, my friend? It's more than that. Terry's not AP's guy. I mean, that is true, but that also means that basically nobody on this roster is Adam's guy. I mean, he's drafted what? Let's see. He drafted, I think, 9 players in his first draft? I think it was 8 or 9, and then 5 last year. So that's still a very small portion of the team. And he already cut one of his guys. He cut Dominique Hampton, lest we forget. Thoughts on Washington trading for an edge like Walker, Grenard, or Van Ness? I did learn that it's pronounced Grenard, not Greenard, by the way. My apologies. Normally when I watch games, and this is so nerdy of me, but normally when I watch games, I watch them with the sound off or turned down, or I just go back and I watch the All-22. So I didn't actually know it's pronounced Greenard, but it's Grenard. I don't know why I took this off the screen. Thoughts on trading for an edge like Walker, Grenard, or Van Ness? I know the Commanders have been linked to these players in the past. Right now, I don't think it's in the Commanders' best interest to go all in on a trade. I think you should wait to see how free agency plays out, and maybe you can circle back to it. But, draft capital is it's at a premium right now because they don't have very much of it. Could care less if they get Maxx, won't make a difference. Talking about the Cowboys here, won't make a difference is strong. When you add a Defensive Player of the Year candidate to your team, it helps out a lot. But are they going to be a Super Bowl contender? No, they're still not there. Don't think AP has guys. All we've got so far is the 49ers players are AP's guys. He's not loyal to Terry. He's not, but he shouldn't be loyal to anybody. It's a business at the end of the day. All right, we got some people rolling in here. And again, guys, if you are joining me, if you didn't hear me before, make sure you do hit the like button. That's how we get this video out there. I'm going to switch over, and let me switch the layout here so that you guys can get more of a full screen. Let's go with a little simple one right here. So this is going to be, a little bit on the nerdier side, but it's important to me because on my channel, I try to always educate you guys, not try to push narratives or anything. And this is something that's important to me. So we're looking at numbers here. I'm going to do my best to slow walk you through it as best I can. So what I've done is I've preloaded Terry McLaurin's contract details into this because, again, the whole reason that we are going through this exercise is when people heard the report that this could be Terry McLaurin's last season with the Commanders, a lot of the initial reactions from some fans out there was, well, just restructure the contract. Like that solves everything. And it does solve some things, but it also creates more problems. So this is hopefully to help us understand. And I promise this is not going to be some intricate math lesson. We're not going to be here for an hour looking at a spreadsheet, but I'm going to go over it as best I can in a concise and succinct way. But if you guys have questions or comments, make sure you throw them in the live chat. I'll try to break this up a little bit so I can get through what I'm trying to say, and then I'll come back and I will talk about whatever it is that you guys want to go over. So just ignore this part for now. This is basically what we're going to change. We're going to alter how much a restructuring would be for. But Terry right now has 3 years left on his deal, or we are assuming that there would be 3 years left on the deal. There would be the 27-year, the 28-year, and the 29-year, which is a void year. Obviously, we're going into 26 right now. These are all these numbers right here. This is all what's in the contract right now. This is his 27 cap hit. We know that he's going to be $18 million this year. Then it goes to 34, then 39.5. Then it's an $8.5 million void year. This is the dead cap. If you cut him after 26, $18 million. This is the dead cap after you cut him. If you cut him after 27, $12 million. So this is what Terry's contract looks right now. Let's say the Commanders do want to restructure the contract. They want to open up more cap space this season or next season. And, they want to be aggressive. They want to go sign some players. So let's say that the Commanders want to restructure it by $15 million. So here are the effects that this has. On a 3-year contract, you're going to be prorating $5 million per year. So Terry's cap hit would go from $34 million in 2027 to $24 million in 2027. That's great. That's awesome. But in 2028, it goes from $39.5 million to $44.5 million. In the void year, $8.5 million of dead cap money becomes $13.5 million of dead cap money. Additionally, if you want to cut Terry after the 2026 season, cut him, trade him, whatever, you got $18 million in dead cap. Now it's $22 million in dead cap. You want to do the same thing after 27, it goes from $12 million in dead cap to $16 million in dead cap. So these are your 27 cap savings here. $10 million. Again, it's going from 34 million in dead cap to 24 million in dead cap, 10 million savings. But you lose 5 million the following year. You lose 5 million the year after that, and your dead cap goes up by $10 million. So you're kicking the can down the road in the sense that the cap never changes. The actual overall cap hit never changes, but you paid at a later date. So you kick the can down the road and your dead cap goes up quite significantly. Again, the Commanders have an out after this upcoming season for $18 million. Well, next year that would go, or if they restructured, it would go to 22. And if they wanted to cut him for 12 after 27, it goes to 16. So again, you get a $10 million dead cap increase. This is a small amount too. I mean, they could be aggressive and go for something like $20 million in restructuring. So now all of a sudden, let me lower this down a little bit. So all of a sudden you've saved $13.3 million in cap, but your dead cap has gone up $13.3 million. You want to restructure $25 million of it. Okay, well, you've gone dollars. He's only got a $17 million cap hit next year, but you've also created about $16.7 million in additional dead cap. So that's how it works. I told you I was going to keep it. Why didn't the layout change? I told you I was going to keep it short. I'm happy to go back to it, but I just wanted to give you guys a little mental break because I don't want this to feel like a lesson in school. Okay. So if you got questions about any of that works, then feel free to let me know. Scale. See, I try to do something nice and I get Grant loves his spreadsheets. Look, guys, if you go to my Twitter bio, matter of fact, I'm pulling it up right now just because of you, Scale. This is all because of you. Let me go to my Twitter profile and I'll share it on the screen. You see what this says right here? Part analytics, part that boy nice watcher. That's what I am. Depending on the mood you catch me in, or depending on what I'm looking for. That boy nice. You got nice crossover. But then the other time I'm making spreadsheets. I'm creating formulas. I'm going over analytics. So yes, I like to have a balance of it all because at the end of the day, in my opinion, the eye test can only get you so far. Analytics can only get you so far. You need to try to blend both of them. So this is me tapping into my analytics bag. So I hope you guys appreciate it. I'm going to come back to this because this is on a separate topic, but I will come back to this. I promise. Let's see. What else do we got up here? Go Giants. Interesting. I know I had an Eagles fan for a long time. I had an Eagles fan who was like obsessed with my videos, and he disappeared as of a couple of months ago, really ever since the Eagles lost, because this whole thing was like the Eagles have lost one game and however many, and then they started losing. So I think he went into hibernation. But a Giants fan, I mean, we're not really going to talk about the Giants all that much, but you are welcome to hang out here. I might talk down on your team, but I won't try to do it unfairly. That's like if I criticize the Commanders, I criticize the Giants, criticize the Cowboys. I'll criticize everybody where it's warranted, and I'll praise everybody where it's warranted too. Do we have anything else related to contracts? If not, I will move on. They are not getting rid of Scary Terry. Unfortunately, I disagree with you, my friend. I said it from literally day one after we got the contract. I said this contract was written to cut him or trade him. But the problem is right now, because he's coming off of an injury, the first real injury of his career, tanked his draft or his trade stock. So I don't think they'll trade him right now, but I do think that next year will kind of be his last year with the Commanders. No hate. I love this. No hate with the spreadsheets. I love them too. Y'all crying about not having weapons, but want to get rid of the best weapon. Well, this is the thing. I don't think anybody wants to get rid of Terry McLaurin, the football player. I think they recognize the reality of the situation, which is in this year that we were talking about, he will be 32 years old, commanding a $34 million cap hit, or even more than that if they actually restructure the contract. And this is a team that needs to continue to get younger and also save money where they can. So nobody wants to get rid of Terry McLaurin. They want to move on from a contract from an older player. It's nothing against Terry. It's business. It's how the NFL works at the end of the day. Do you think we offer Alec Pierce the bag to become a long-term replacement for Terry? So I have been telling my buddies that I was convinced Alec Pierce was going to the Bills or the Patriots. The Bills traded for DJ Moore today, and then the Patriots reportedly have a trade offer out for A.J. Brown. Now, the Eagles are supposed to be asking for a lot. I think they're asking for a first and a second. If I'm the Patriots, no, you can kick rocks. I'm not doing that. And it's also going to cost the Eagles. I think they have to pay $40 million against the cap to trade him, not even to cut him. So I didn't think that a trade was very likely. But as time goes on, and if we get more links between the Patriots and A.J. Brown, I don't know why every time I go live, my nose itches all of a sudden. It's weird. I need to figure that out. If we continue to get those links, those were the two top teams that I had for Alec Pierce, because they had money. They had the need for a receiver. Now, the Titans got to be interested. Lots of money. Surround the young quarterback with talent. The Raiders got to be interested. Lots of money. Surround the young quarterback with talent. But the Commanders should be in that mix. And we've gotten reports from several of the Commanders insiders that they are not going to be frugal. They're not going to spend recklessly, but they're willing to spend top market dollars on a player that they think it warrants. So Alec Pierce would be that guy in this cycle. The thing that you have to think about is, are we falling victim to, my friend actually made a really good analogy when we were texting just about 30 minutes ago. He said, is this the Timothy Mozgov, Evan Turner sort of effect? If anybody out there is an NBA fan, where it's like, well, Timothy Mozgov is the only center on the market, so he's going to end up getting the highest contract. I think Alec Pierce comparatively is better than Timothy Mozgov was, but Alec Pierce is also a guy who has one 1,000-yard season in 4 seasons. And I love Alec Pierce. I would love him on the Commanders. But if this bidding war gets up to like $30 million a year, which is what Terry is currently making, is that worth it? The answer, unfortunately, is probably no. Robert, I'm going to come back to this because I said that I would. Help me out. Wasn't Moody good enough or better than what we have had to resign this year? Let's look at the Jake Moody numbers, because I did address this in a video, but I kind of skipped over it relatively quickly. Let me pull up Jake Moody's ESPN stats, and so we can all take a look together like a family. So Jake Moody with the Washington Commanders.
The tight end,
Stop that. Jake Moody with the Washington Commanders was 10 of 11 on his field goals. That's good. That's like 91.9. Is it 91.9%? Something like that, or 90.9%? It's it's right here. Wow. Sometimes I get in my own way. 90.9%, which is obviously great. 10 of 11 on extra points. Ironically, the same percentage is low, because for the season he was 93.8, and you can see that was 32nd in the NFL. The problem isn't necessarily what he did with the Commanders. It's what he did for the year. 82.6% for the year, was 30th in the NFL. His career field goal percentage is only 78, is below that. And you have to keep in mind, they are seeing him in practice. They do have a good evaluation of him. And honestly, I didn't think that Jake Moody should have been brought back either, because maybe they can bring him to camp. Maybe bring him to camp, give him a competition. But I said this in the video. Look, I don't care if you have to have 4 or 5 kickers at camp. It'll look ridiculous when you see the sheet come out with everybody that's in attendance. It's going to sound ridiculous, but that's the spot the Commanders are in. Like, they haven't had a kicker for whatever reason. They have not had a kicker, and you need to find somebody. So Moody did all right with the Commanders. He absolutely did, but what he did for the season as a whole and for his career shows that he's still not up to NFL standard. So they're kind of just banking on that more so than the limited sample that they had from him. That's how I read this situation. So Jake Moody, not in the Commanders' future, unless he's coming back on a camp deal. They're talking about getting rid of him next season when we already have a replacement and can afford to take a wide receiver in the first round of the draft. Yes, and let's also not forget, Commanders might have a new wide receiver from Ohio State in the first round in a month and a half. Carnell Tate, heavily in the mix here. Could absolutely be happening. So we'll see what happens. Guys, give me like 30 seconds. I don't know what's going on, but my nose is really itching, so I need to get like some lotion or something. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Oh, all right. Definitely one of the weirder experiences that I've had. I must have gotten bit by a bug or something, and I just didn't know it. Anyway, let's catch back up with the chat here. Terry is gone. Terry is gone. Let's see. I don't think he won't be on the team next season. That'd be a crazy move. Talking about Terry. Yeah, Terry's going to be here next season for sure. Now, there was a conversation, and I had this conversation of maybe the Commanders would have tried to trade him this offseason, meaning he wouldn't be on the team next year. But those conversations were last year before he got injured. If he had gone out, had another 1,000-yard season, maybe you could have convinced the team, look, he's still got a low cap hit for another year. He's still really productive. Come and get him. But coming off the injury, that's obviously not the case. And the Commanders also don't have talent at wide receiver right now. So obviously Terry's going to be playing his football in DC next season at the very least. Terry is a young 32. Yeah. Some of the things we heard last season are so funny looking back on him. Terry has less miles on his legs, so he's not going to break down, which, like, I mean, has logic to it, but come on. He's still, the age is the age. The number is the number. And then Joe Witt saying, I like older players, or the thing about older players is they play a half step faster, even if the younger guys can run a half step, or what do you say? I messed that up. Older players can play a half step faster, even if the younger players can run a half step faster. Didn't really work out that way. So some of the stuff that we heard just did not pan out. Terry's contract might be his own downfall. Terry, how do I put this? Terry did well for himself to get the money that he did because Adam Peters could have pretty easily decided to trade him. However, the way that the contract was structured, when it first came out and we thought that he was making $31 or $32 million a year, we later found out that it's 29. Everyone was like, wow, it's a massive win for Terry. And then you look at the numbers, the way that it's structured, the lack of guarantees on the back end of the deal, the way that the cap hit suddenly, it goes from like 17.5 to 18 to then 34, 39. It was pretty clear Adam Peters always intended to trade or cut Terry after the first 2 years, which would have been, I guess really it would have been the final year of his last deal and then the first year of the new deal, which is going to be this upcoming season. You just look at the numbers sometimes and it will tell you what the general manager, whoever that wrote the contract, it'll tell you what they're thinking if you just look into the numbers and the details. Can't wait for free agency. I mean, we've got what? We've got 3 days and 17 hours. Let's just call it 3.5 days. We got 3.5 days until the start of legal tampering. And there's going to be tampering. Phone calls are going to be made. And I'm excited. I can only imagine. Also, that day, next Monday, coincides with a really, really cool thing that I'm bringing to the channel here. I'm collaborating with someone else, and I'm pretty confident you guys are going to know who it is. So just something to look forward to next Monday coming to the channel. The guy held out into the season for top 5 money, killed the mojo. Adam not forgetting that. Wait. McLaurin contract. No, that's not what I want to do. NFL receiver contracts. I forget where Terry's deal actually ranks among other players. I know he was asking for, supposedly he was asking for like $35 million a year. Terry's average annual value is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th. 10th in the league, ironically right behind Brandon Aiyuk, who of course is not going to have that deal. I have no clue what Brandon Aiyuk's deal is going to look like. I said this in my video earlier today. It's so difficult for me to get a full grasp of what the Commanders offseason is actually going to look like because I think there's a strong chance. I said earlier today, I think it's a 50-50 chance he plays for the Commanders versus he plays for the field, any of the other 31 teams. I guess I'll stand by that. But because it is one team versus 31, it just feels so slanted. I think Brandon Aiyuk's playing his football for the Commanders next season. And because I have no clue what his contract's going to look like, it's tough for me to get the full picture of what they're going to do in free agency. Like if they're paying Brandon Aiyuk $20 million, you can kiss Alec Pierce goodbye. They're not going after him. But at the same time, it feels like there's no way Brandon Aiyuk's getting $20 million. He might get $5 million in base salary with a ton of incentives, but it's incentives. He's got to go out there and earn it. So I don't know. That's the part that I'm really struggling with it all. I think Terry and his agent weren't happy with what the Commanders were doing and eventually did with his contract, making him easily cuttable after 2 years. Probably why it took so long. I think this is true for sure. I think AP started on a lower average annual value. They went up in the AAV, but they kept the guarantees pretty low and they made it relatively easy to cut or trade him. So I would agree that that's probably the source of contention. I would rather try out to go after Rashid Shaheed. Are we saying this instead of Alec Pierce or drafting Carnell Tate? What are we saying this is in reference to? I would rather try to go after Rashid Shaheed because it's interesting. But Rashid Shaheed is he might be wanting a lot too. He might be wanting close to $20 million. And I'll be honest, if the choice is Alec Pierce for 27 or Shaheed for 20, and you tell me one of them is happening, 100 times out of 100, it's Alec Pierce. I mean, Shaheed's career high is, I think, 600 something yards. His second season, 719, his second season with the Saints, 5 touchdowns. Give me Alec Pierce all day long. Now, I like Shaheed. I like Shaheed for the right value, but not just in a vacuum. I'm scrolling through the chat to see if we got anything else, any new topics. Jaden Daniels would be upset if they get rid of him. We can't have the Cliff Kingsbury problem over again. Everyone wants Tariq Woolen. Don't think that's happening. Let's get the next best thing and draft Terry Davis in day 3. Interesting shout there. Terry needs to be a lifer. We're going off reports. That's what I try to do that on this channel. I try to go off of sourced information. If there's no information available, then I will give you my opinions. Like I'll just jump to conclusions. I'll tell you guys how I see it. But I always try to go off the information that is publicly available. And right now, the information that's available is Terry's not finishing his playing career because I don't think he's retiring. Not finishing his playing career in DC. We'll see if that pans out. But that's what we've got to go off of right now. What do you think that the first position that will be signed by AP? Okay, so I'm going to answer a different question, but hopefully this answers your question. The first position that's signed, I don't know. It's going to be whoever feels they got the best offer. The first player that he's actually, is it 12? I think it's 12 o'clock or is it 3 p.m.? Whenever free agency opens. I think it might be 12 o'clock for tampering and 3 o'clock for free agency. Whatever it is. The first player or the first position that he's going to call, I think it's going to be linebacker. There's a lot of linebacker talent that's available. It's a sneaky, it's not even sneaky. It's just super, super strong, super deep this year. So I'll say linebacker. Are we in the Trey Hendrickson market? No, absolutely not. He wants $30 million a year plus. He's going to be 32 years old next season, coming off of a season-ending injury. And I don't think it's a repeatable season-ending injury. It's a core issue, but even still, no chance. Could it be Grant and Louis T? We'll see. Got to stick around, see what happens next Monday. Caleb Downs, NFL comp. I'd say Eric Berry. And Eric Berry is a 3-time first-team All-Pro. So that's putting the bar high. Instead of Pierce. Okay, got you. I don't think Shaheed is going to cost what Pierce will. No, he won't. He will definitely be cheaper. But again, I think Shaheed, supposedly he's priced himself out of the Seahawks, and the Seahawks have the 6th most cap space in the entire NFL, despite just winning the Super Bowl. Supposedly he wants like close to $20 million a year. Again, like I said, if it's Shaheed for 20 or Pierce for 27, it's Pierce for me. Maybe trade Terry now and draft a wide receiver. Realistically, it will be hard for a team to take on his contract next year. Sounds evil, but probably get a lot of trade value. So this is what I said when he signed the contract. This is exactly, you put it very concisely. This is exactly what I said. The problem is because he was injured last year, teams aren't going to do it. Be like, well, this is why nobody signs guys over 30. And look, he got to 30 and he got injured for the first time in his career. Nah, not trading for him. Or if they do, it's going to be like a 5th or a 6th. And at that point, you might as well keep him because you're going to get better production than that. What's going on, Jacob? How we doing this evening? Terry will be here. He will renegotiate. Renegotiate? He's not going to abandon his current contract, so I don't know about that. And if you're talking about restructuring, then my friend, I encourage you to go back to about 5 minutes into the stream. I did a whole spreadsheet breakdown. There's actually like 100 more viewers than there was when I started the stream. So guys, we did a whole spreadsheet breakdown on what restructuring Terry's contract would look like. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Things like this, you save 10 million against the cap this year, but you lose 5 million the year after that, lose 5 million the year after that, and you increase $10 million in dead cap. So I broke all that down. If you guys didn't see it, again, go back to about 5 minutes into the stream and you can get it there. It only took about 5 minutes or so. It wasn't like a full-blown math lesson. Let's see what's going on out there on the open market right now, because whenever I go live, it feels like so many things happen. Maxx Crosby to the Bears and the Cowboys is heating up. We already knew that. Not seeing anything crazy going out there right now. Tyler Biadasz potentially going to the Chargers. He's out there for a visit. He was out there with the Bears for a visit a day or two ago. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything new. So with that in mind, why don't I pull up something that I posted earlier today, because I want to get your guys' opinion. I want to make this interactive. I'll pull this up for you guys. So the Commanders made some re-signings last night and then earlier today, all on the defensive line. You had Drake Jackson, you had Shy Tuttle, and you had Dietrich Wise Jr. So with that in mind, I tweeted this earlier today. The Commanders' defensive linemen under contract now include Deron Payne, Javon Kinlaw, Dorrance Armstrong, Jerzon Newton, Dietrich Wise, Shy Tuttle, Drake Jackson, Javonte. Oh, I just realized I spelled his name wrong. There's supposed to be an A right there. Javonte Jean-Baptiste. Can't be messing that up. Ricky Barber and Andre Carter II. What I want you guys to do is I want you to 1 to 10. I want you to rate this defensive line. And then let's see. I want 2 things from you in the same message as well, so I can throw it up on the screen at one time. If you spread it out across multiple messages, then it gets difficult. I want your rating of this unit 1 to 10, and I want your 1 defensive line signing, or it could be a draft pick, Bain, Bailey, whoever, that you think takes this unit over the top. So whatever you got, throw it in there. And there's like a 15 to 30 second delay on the stream, so I'm going to let the delay go by, and then I'll start to throw your comments up on the screen. In the meantime, I got to set myself an alarm. I got some stuff to do later. All right. Got things starting to roll in. We got 6. We got 6. Owe. I like Owe a lot as well. Be interested to see how he fits in a 3-4 if that's where they are going. Think he would end up playing outside linebacker most likely. 6, Bain, Bailey are really interchangeable for me. I could care less who. So Scale, you would prefer, or at least you think your top guy would be in the draft, not in free agency, if I'm getting that right. 4 and Bailey. 4, but could be a 7 if schemed properly. 7, late draft pick. 6, Bailey. I'm seeing a lot of love for David Bailey. So here's the thing. This is my fault probably, but if David Bailey plays his football for the Commanders, he's going to be playing outside linebacker. So not technically a defensive lineman, but he's an edge rusher. So I'll give it to you all. But yeah, David Bailey would be playing outside linebacker. There's no way he's lining up on the inside shoulder of the tackle. His number 1 asset is his speed, and he's not able to leverage that if he's not on the outside, not literally on the edge. So we'll see what happens. And I mean, Durante Jones is going to scheme it up so that he can get the best out of his players. But if we are assuming that they're rolling with this 3-4, which I think the Dietrich Wise signing kind of makes sense for that, because I feel like he is meant to play that kind of 4-eye in a 3-4, maybe clog up some gaps. I do wish they had more gap cloggers. Like Kinlaw's not really a multi-gap sort of guy. You would think he would be with his size, but sometimes he plays a little high. Payne, maybe he can be the multi-gap stopper, the 2 gaps guy, and then you get the blitzing linebackers off of that. We'll see how they dial it up. Bane would be my guy if he wasn't a T-Rex. I've seen Bailey going higher than us lately, but obviously no one really knows what's going to happen in a draft like this. Yeah, let me pull up some mock drafts. What do we got out there? Why don't I just do it? I'll just do it in this tab. Tankathon, which is my favorite for this type of stuff. They've got it Mendoza, Reese, Malinoa. I learned how to say his name after like 4 months of saying I don't know. Why is ad blocker not on? Hello? Block this ad. I blocked it. All right, it's not working. Whatever. Mendoza, Reese, Malinoa, Bane, 4th to the Titans. By the way, Jeremiah Love had a visit to the Titans today. So doesn't mean they're drafting him, but did visit out there. So they're at least, it's good. They're doing their due diligence. The Commanders hosted like 1 billion different people at Top Golf last year, or 2 years ago. Spencer Fano, I forgot Sonny Styles. Sonny Styles 5th to the Giants. Spencer Fano to the Browns. Caleb Downs, Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Love, and then David Bailey at 10. So they think Bailey's going later, but I'm with you. I have seen David Bailey getting mocked as high as 2nd or 3rd before. So, and I think if he's going to go in the top 5 realistically, it would be to the Titans. I think he would be number 4 if he's going in that top 5. The Giants are such a wild card here because they've got as stacked of a defensive line as you could ever ask for, and they're all young, so you're not going to move off of them. I mean, they're moving off of Thibodeau because like they just don't have enough space. So they could go offensive lineman, they could go receiver, they could go Caleb Downs, safety. Not buying Jeremiah Love at all. I think the only team, and I'm going to stand on this, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, and I will come on here and I will hold my hands up. I think the only team above the Commanders that might take Jeremiah Love is the Titans, and I don't think they're going to do it. But I think they're the only team. I'm not buying the Cardinals, and I'm not buying the Giants at all. So on draft day, hold your breath. If you want Jeremiah Love, hold your breath on the Titans. After that, it's in the clear, and then the Commanders will pick him if they want to. I think he'll still be there. Need a nose tackle. Get this off the screen. Need a nose tackle. I want all the edges gone so they can draft a toy for Jaden. Oh, you want the other teams to draft edges. Got it. I could see a Newton breakout year with the coach who uses young players. I mean, okay, let's be fair here. And it's frustrating. It is frustrating. But I remember reading a Nikki Jabvala article that was posted maybe like midway through last year, which said that the Commanders used their rookies more than any other team in the NFL from the time Dan Quinn came in. Now, Jaden's on the field for every offensive snap, so that obviously helps. They did get young guys out there on the field. If anything, Johnny Newton wasn't really the one that I wanted to see play more. I wanted to see Ben Sinnott play more. I wanted to see Jordan McGee play more. Experience would have been good for Johnny Newton, but I wasn't like, oh, I'm excited by this guy. I think reps are exactly what he needs. When Johnny Newton was on the field, he wasn't playing very well. Like, just be honest. Now, I hope that he breaks out. I really hope he does. He's kind of critical to this team's sustainability in the long term, but he wasn't playing well. And when he was out there specifically against the run, he was really bad. He was. So I'm not sugarcoating it. That's just what it was. But I hope Johnny Newton has a breakout year. I would love for that to happen. David Bailey or Caleb Downs, if they fall to us, has me stuck. Six defensive line styles. As long as we get one of Love, Bailey, Downs styles, or Tate in that order. I like that you put the specificity. You added the specificity to that. The blessing about where the Commanders is they're going to get somebody good. You're going to get one of these guys on the screen right now, Love, Bailey, Downs, Styles, or Tate, or Bane, or Delane. You're going to get a dude. It's just a matter of picking the right one. Not as high on Bailey. Some people still aren't, and that's fine. I think Bane is probably, if we're talking about plain defensive line, Bailey is a better fit for a 3-4. But if Bailey's moving to outside linebacker, which he played at Stanford, and he can still be as productive as he was at Texas Tech, then it works fine. Giants don't need Jeremiah Love. No, of course they don't. No way. 4 for the defensive line currently, adding Boye Mafe. The Titans will take him, meaning Jeremiah Love. Titans have so many holes, think they'll go best player available. What's good from Dumfries, Virginia? Always love the show. What's going on, my friend? Appreciate you. Used to live near Dumfries. Shefty just posted Zaire Franklin on the block. Always love live updates from the chat. Let's get it up on the screen. Let's get Zaire. Bada boom. Bada bing. Appreciate you saying this, Neha. The Colts are speaking with teams about a trade for their former Pro Bowl linebacker Zaire Franklin as they look to get under the salary cap by next week per sources. Franklin led the NFL in tackles in 2024. So back to the whole linebacker situation. Let's NFL free agent linebackers. Let's look at this list. So we'll add Zaire Franklin to this. Keep in mind you've got Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese in the draft, along with guys like Perkins and Anthony Hill Jr. and Jacob Rodriguez and all them. You've got Devin Lloyd, Bobby Okereke, Demario Davis, all right, he's 37 years old, Quincy Williams, Devin Bush, Quay Walker, Nakobe Dean, Bobby Wagner, we haven't said his name yet, Levante David, Anzalone. Jonathan Gennard is probably out of the Vikings. Alex Singleton, Leo Chanel, there's just dudes everywhere, literally everywhere. So that's why when the question was asked earlier, who do I think the first call is going to in free agency position-wise? I think that it's got to be a linebacker. It's the center of this defense. I think when they talk about speed, which is something they have said, I don't know how many times now, but adding speed, getting younger, that meets the linebacker description more than any other because that's where they're older and slower. So they have to walk away with I'm not going to say elite, but a very good linebacker. They have to. Otherwise, I'll be so upset with Adam Peters. Yo, what's going on? I don't even know how I'm supposed to pronounce his name, but what's good? Appreciate you being in here. Zahn. I like this. I like Jazan. Johnny. Call him Zahn. Zahn bin meh. I truly don't see Love going to the Titans. I think he falls to us, surprisingly. I don't either. I would put Arvell Reese, David Bailey, Reuben Bain, Carnell Tate, all above Jeremiah Love in the pecking order for the Titans. Titans O-line was 11th to last. Sadly, that's Jeremiah Love worthy. Getting Texas Tech, Brian. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying that he would play outside linebacker in a 3-4 like Burns. Gotcha. If you were to go back and draft round 1, 2025, who would you take? I might still take Connerly. Good question, Tyler. Good question. And I'm going to do this the honorable way by giving you a real answer. Because I'm not going to say somebody that was drafted before the Commanders picked at 29. Because we can't do that. Because he wasn't available. I'm getting the order up right now. Here we go. This is the 2025 NFL Draft. Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Will Campbell. We know how it goes. So where are the Commanders? They're down here at Josh Connerly. Maxwell Hairston, Jihad Campbell, and Josh Simmons rounded out the first round. Schlesinger, Higgins, Eman Wari. Okay. So there's several things that we have to consider here. We obviously have to consider who's the better player. We have to consider who's better for the long term, who's still got the potential. We got to consider the importance of the position. We got to consider their durability / how long we think they're going to be playing for the team that drafted them, which is, of course, the Commanders. And I'm not going to do something. I said this when I did, what video was it? I did some video where I basically spoke about, I hate it when people say, we picked 46th and Puka Nacua went in the 5th round. How do you mess that up? Well, everybody thought Puka was probably a 6th or a 7th round pick. That's why he wasn't picked until the 5th round. There was one team that had the foresight to do it. So I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to look at players that were actually within reach. And I'll stretch it out. I'll go to the bottom of the 2nd round. So if we go from Josh Connerly, here, I'll put him at the top of the screen. If we start at Josh Connerly, and we go down to Trey Amos, who was basically at the bottom of the second round. Only other players after him were Shamar Turner, Omar Norman-Lott, and Andrew Makuba. So we'll position it like this. So the guys who are in contention would be Schlesinger, who won Defensive Rookie of the Year, Eman Wari, Luther Burden. I was a huge Will Johnson guy. I'm not going to lie, but he fell for medical reasons, and those look to be like legitimate concerns. So I won't count him. Tate Ratledge is probably the next guy up here, in all honesty. So it's Connerly, Schlesinger, Higgins, Burden, or Tate Ratledge for me. Yeah, it would be one of those 5 guys. So would I take Connerly over all of them? Okay. Eman Wari and Schlesinger were both really good last year. Of course, Eman Wari had the luxury of playing for a better team, so he got to play for longer, and he was probably the Seahawks' best defensive player in the playoffs. So it's easy to say him. I think he would have failed with the Commanders last year. I think Nick Eman Wari would have played at the same level or a lower level than Josh Connerly did with the Commanders last year. Schlesinger, I don't know that they would have put him on the field, in all honesty, because they were playing a lot of 4-2-5, and they have Lewin Wagner. So I think if he was with the Commanders, you probably would have been saying it was the wrong pick as well. Luther Burden came on. Luther Burden's got really good advanced numbers, things like yards per route run and stuff like that. Hasn't had the raw production, but you're still high on him. And then Ratledge, I wouldn't mind it. But let's see, who were the Commanders' guards last year? It was going to be Coleman on the left and Cosme coming back off the right. So it wouldn't have made sense for you to take a guard. So I think it's okay for me to eliminate Ratledge. Would I rather have Connerly, and Wari, or Burden? I would take Burden off of that. I would say right now, Schlesinger. No. I would say right now, Eman Wari looks like the best pick. But Josh Connerly, more than these other 2 guys, was drafted off of potential and what he could be in the future. And you did see progression from him. So right now, I'm still cool with the Josh Connerly pick. That's where I'm at with this. Love the question, Tyler. I'm going to scroll through the chat and I'm going to catch up. If I don't see your answer, then I want you to put your answer as well. I mean, you said, who would you take? I might still take Connerly. I want a definitive yes or no. And if not, who would you take? Getting back to the linebackers. I keep stepping on something under my desk. I got to clean this up. Give me Nakobe Dean or Devin Bush. Cards seem the threat on Love. Commanders linebacker situation needs sorted out. Is Delane better than Downs in the lockdown role? They play very different. They would play very different roles on this team. I would prefer Downs, and I still don't think the Cardinals are taking Love. I think it would be the Titans, if anybody, before the Commanders. Devin Lloyd, trades feel tough for us, man. I guess AP could deal from 27 picks, but really no room to move picks this year. Agreed. I'd rather get rid of Bobby Wagner than Terry. Well, it's 2 separate things. If we don't get some news by Bobby Wagner or on Bobby Wagner by Sunday, don't think he's coming back. Why wouldn't they cut Payne? He's so inconsistent and not worth $28 million. To be fair, I did think they were going to trade him. That's what they would do. They would trade him because somebody would take him. I was surprised that they didn't. So I don't have an answer. For Washington, would you sign a linebacker and draft one at number 7? If Sonny Styles is the best player there, then yeah, go get him. Simple as that. I would for sure still take Connerly. Okay, so Scale agrees. Eman Wari, LOL, but I still like Connerly. That's basically what I said. I said Eman Wari is probably looking the best right now, but Connerly's drafted off of potential. It's not fair to judge him after 1 year, and you saw him get better as the year went on, which is what matters to me. Love is the best player in this class. No way he gets to us at 7. Someone also might jump us with the Browns. Love, Styles, or Tate would be my preference. Back to Connerly here. 4 sacks, 32 pressures allowed. Oops, sorry. If you take out first 2 games as an NFL rookie, young 21, moving from left tackle to right tackle and playing the Giants D-line the very next week, Micah Parsons. And don't forget, the very next week, Maxx Crosby as well. Carson Schlesinger, and I'm not letting you off the hook for the spelling, Tyler. We got to do better. Schlesinger, we got to do better than this. But he is a dog. You're absolutely right. Connolly going to be a stud. Give it time. Fully agree. Having a franchise tackle really is so valuable. This is a silly exercise when we all know that protecting JD5 has been a priority. I disagree that's a silly exercise. It's if anything, I mean, right now we're not like saying if we should fire Adam Peters or not. It's cool to go back and look because everybody killed the Connolly pick when it came in. But when you go back and look at it like this, you actually say, oh, that actually was a pretty solid pick. And I'm still cool with the Connolly pick. And I think Connolly's going to be good. But like you said, you're absolutely spot on. The Commanders made it a point that they want to protect JD5. I only want Downs, Styles, or Delane. If it's defense, suppose Arvell Reese as well. Eman Worry or JCJ, we did well there. I wanted Makuba big time. I loved Makuba as well. He had a really bad rookie year, but I still want to believe in him because I was such a huge – the Texas guys, I loved both of them. I loved Makuba and I loved Jahdae Barron, and neither one of them were good as rookies. So I'm hoping they bounce back because those were both my guys. Wrote articles about both of them. I have a signing a linebacker first name free agency. If so, which back are you taking, Devin Bush or Devin Lloyd? I would take Devin. I almost spoke too quickly there. I'm with you that I think it is going to be the linebacker first. Devin Lloyd scares me a little bit because he's a contract year standout. So is that going to carry over? He's also a lot more expensive. I would say Devin Lloyd. I would take Lloyd. If we could pick up our needs in free agency and maybe trade down for some picks, would you pick Omar Cooper in the second round? 100%. Omar Cooper is awesome. Judkins is a beast. Judkins is a good pick. Cleveland needs an O-line. I agree, guys. Judkins is a beast. Absolutely. I wanted Makuba and DeJean. Howie took both of them. JC been fine. Damn, we got a lot of comments in here. I appreciate you guys showing out here. I'm taking Eman Worry probably. You did mention earlier, though, that you were still cool with JCJ. So, again, we see this the same way. Not letting me off the hook for the spelling. No, come on. We got to do better. It's on the screen. Titans and Cards don't want love. I'd rather have Tyler Algier. I don't want the temptation at 7. Look, I get Algier's a solid player, man, but this offense needs explosiveness. And with all due respect to Algier, he is not explosive at all. So for Dan Quinn and Blau and them to talk about needing to put an emphasis on creating explosive plays, I don't see it happen, but we will see. Algier don't fumble. He blocks his ass off, and he's a hell of a runner. He is. You're right. In all of this, you are. I just think they want to add explosiveness. I love Thieneman. I do too. This is an interesting thing that I think you guys are going to start to see in drafts. And this is going to relate to safeties and positional value and stuff like that, the Caleb Downs conversations. I did an interview with a guy named Cody Alexander. I'm sure most of you saw it. If you haven't, it was really fun. It was a 2-parter. Go check it out. A lot of good stuff. He was on the coaching staff at Baylor when RG3 won the Heisman and when Baylor won the Big 12. Coached high school football in Texas for 10 years. Really informed dude. And he said something which is basically in this modern day NFL, if you don't have a space eraser nickel player who is not a mismatch in any sense, like go back to Nicky Manwari. Think about Nicky Manwari. He covers like a corner, but he plays the run like a linebacker. In this modern NFL where there's so much pace and space and things are happening so quickly, and also offenses now are starting to load up and go big because they want you to have to upgrade. They want you to have to match their personnel, get more linebackers on the field. If you have a safety who plays like a corner and a linebacker, you have to take him. So Dylan Thieneman is absolutely one of those guys. Caleb Downs, not as big, but absolutely one of those guys. You need someone who can match up and not be a mismatch. So I think you are going to start to see safeties taken higher, or if you get these sort of like hybrid corner guys, maybe you're just going to see straight up nickel corners getting drafted higher. But I think there is going to be a change in the way that these NFL teams go about their draft process. White from Tampa Bay is also not explosive at all. No, he's not. I understand the friendship connection. Rachaad White is low on my priority list in free agency with all due respect to him. I don't mind if they make Terry a backup wide receiver. The enemy is moving up the board fast. Yeah, because I should probably do this in the tab I have open so you all can see, so we don't just look at a constant spreadsheet of names. What did he check in at with his measurements? Because I know what he was listed at. 6'201". Okay, so slightly on the smaller side. You're still in the 200-pound range, so you're good. Try to get him up to like 205 or so. It'll be fine. But yeah, the 4.35, the 41-inch vert, you see the explosiveness there. I mean, you can look at him right now and like not to glaze him, but he's a well-built dude. So he's going to come down. He's going to be physical. You watched him play. That's how he was at Oregon. That's how he was at Purdue. He has a knack for getting interceptions. He had 6 or 7 interceptions as a freshman at Purdue. Again, he'll come down here and he'll play the run well. So, yes, the Enemann's going to continue to climb up fast. Rather take a shot on ETN's potential. ETN's my top running back for the Commanders. And that's factoring in the finances of it and everything. But ETN would be my guy. Theismann, the punt return. Loving JD5 in the red zone would be nasty. 100%. You stay away from downs with that degenerative ACL. That's not a real thing. I talked about this on the channel. It's silly season. They want you to believe that. There have been so many reports that have come out and said it's not real, or they've talked to teams and they have confirmed that these other teams said, no, there's no degenerative ACL. So I think it was a load of nonsense. I think it was a team trying to just get another team or other teams to drop out of the Caleb Downs sweepstakes. Do you think the Chiefs trade up for Love since they have another first-round pick now? Interesting proposal. I hadn't considered that. I would still lean on the side of no, because when you trade away a player like Trent McDuffie, with Mahomes' situation, you're probably embracing not going for it this year. Although it is Travis Kelce's last year, so I don't know how that factors into the math. It's an interesting thought. I would be inclined to say no, but there's absolutely logic to it, and it definitely could happen. So can't say it's not happening. I think this is a really good point there. Stay away from do they know how healthy Aiyuk knee is when he didn't properly rehab? Nobody has the full report on Aiyuk. Lake Lewis Jr. speaking with Rio Robinson on his YouTube the other day, said that he's got it on good accord that Aiyuk is healthy, just didn't want to be in San Francisco. I'm inclined that after 2 years that's probably true. We'll end up seeing pretty soon here. Chad needs some hooked on fun. You got to relax. Alec Pierce will have more yards. Excuse me. Alec Pierce will have more yards. Downs my pick. Alec Pierce will have more yards than Terry when we get him. When we get him. Calling your shot here. You're saying it is happening. All over Travis. Love that. Talking about ETN. Yep. Commanders get Love with Sonny probably gone. Here's a question. On this note, do you expect Sonny Styles or Jeremiah Love to be drafted first? Because I think they're both going to be available at 7 for the Commanders. I think they will both be on the board. Greg says that Sonny is going to the Giants. I feel like if he goes before the Commanders, he has to go to the Giants. There's really no other landing spot. I know that Love has been talked about to the Giants, Cards, and Titans, but again, I don't think it's happening. Dusty, good to see you, bro. How we doing? Styles, you think Styles is going first? Styles ahead of Jeremiah Love? Easy peasy. Ezzy peasy says, give me Love. Hooker says Styles. Rob says it's a toss-up. I want Sonny. I think this is the right answer. I think it is a toss-up because I think, like I said, I think they're both going to be on the board for the Commanders at 7. And I think the Commanders might just end up taking one of them, which means it is a toss-up. There's some strong linebacker free agents, Lloyd, Walker, and Chanel. Also is Romeo Dobbs at wide receiver for us. There's a lot of there's the linebacker specifically. I'll keep saying this linebacker specifically is so deep in this period. And then the wide receiver, Dobbs being one of these guys. There's a lot of number 2, number 3s. No real number 1 aside from maybe Pierce, but that's banking on him developing into something he hasn't quite been in his NFL career, even though he's shown flashes of it. So linebacker, you just got to find a dude, plain and simple. Receivers can be more about how are you structuring the rest of your spending. What up, Grant? Doing good, brother. What about you? And love has been growing on me a little for show. I'm doing well. Obviously staying busy. Obviously we got free agency and stuff coming up here. So always lots of things to talk about here on the channel. You guys have been absolutely crushing it for me as well. It makes it easy to record when you guys are liking and subscribing and doing all that stuff. That's showing love. I really do appreciate it. You guys have no idea how much I do. Forgot how to talk there. Yeah, like even when I'm not in front of the camera, I mean, I'm always looking at comments. I've always got the YouTube studio pulled up on my phone. Like I'm responding to comments and everything. My girl has probably heard me talk about the channel way more than she ever expected to. So yeah, appreciate you guys. But yeah, life's doing good. Sonny won't be available. Downs, Styles, Bailey, Bain are my main guys, but I wouldn't be mad at Tate. So Scale, you didn't say Love in here. And you know that's going to trigger some fans because Jeremiah Love is the shiny toy right now. And Love has grown on me as well. Love is in the air. We just had Valentine's Day. Love is in the air firmly, but you didn't have him in your list. The wild card team is the Cardinals, depending on who they pick. Cardinals could go multiple routes for sure. Titans could as well. Same with the Browns. Gonna need someone to tackle. Sonny is a great tackler for sure. You pay too much attention to us? Nah. There was someone in my comments maybe like 2 months ago. And they said, appreciate you responding. I'm going to miss you when you're gone. Or something like that. I was like, wow, like you threatening me? I mean, they didn't word it exactly like that. So that's not what I thought. But I basically said, what do you mean? And they said, you're going to make it big and you're going to stop talking to us. I was like, and I responded, I said, is that really what happens? And a bunch of people were responding like, yes. And I'm not calling out any other individuals because it can be a lot, especially right now. Recently, I've really started to try to grow my presence on Twitter, which is taking up a lot of time, believe it or not, as silly as it sounds. I've been trying to do some stuff on TikTok too. I didn't even have TikTok on my phone. I am not a TikTok watcher at all. I've watched less than 15 TikToks in my life. And I don't really scroll Instagram Reels either. I'm purely a Twitter guy. And I'm trying to hold on to that. I'm trying to hold on to my why can't I think of the word? Oh, I look so stupid right now. My attention span. I'm trying to hold on to my attention span. So I don't go on TikTok. I don't go on Instagram Reels. But I'm trying to put the time into it recently. So I understand that there's a lot going on. But the point that I'm making here, as long as I can still talk to you guys, if it's possible, like I always want to do that. I created this channel because I wanted to get fan opinions. Like seriously, I was inspired by an English Premier League channel. It's called the Football Terrace, and got no affiliation with them. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. But I thought their channel was so cool because literally, like, they'll go on there and they'll stream every day, post videos, and then after games, they just get all the fans to join them, and they have these group live streams. And I was like, man, that community feeling is so fun. So that's something I'm trying to do here. Got to give Grant some props. A channel that talks legit ball the whole time instead of making fun of Rio shaving his beard for 2 hours. See, I honestly I don't even honestly know what you're referring to because this is something else that I've said before. I don't really watch a ton. There's some exceptions, for sure, some exceptions. Like Rio, for example, is a guy that I definitely watch. But I don't really watch a lot of other Commanders content creators, and it's nothing against them at all. No shade, no disrespect, nothing like that. It's because I don't want my opinions influenced by what other people are saying. So I appreciate the compliment. Unfortunately, I can't really connect to it, but I do appreciate it, genuinely. And Rob, you know this, but you're always in your showing love. Like, you're generally one of those people that makes this all worth it. Grant, I can't lie. I'd be really upset if we took Love. We can get one in free agency very easily, and I'm high on Bill. Well, okay, so I disagree with you that you can't get a Jeremiah Love in free agency, but you can get a multifaceted running back in free agency like Travis Etienne. Bill and Etienne, excuse me. Bill and Etienne is definitely still my preferred like combination of guys. And then go get your third guy. Whether it's bringing back C-Rod, Whether it's, I think a Rico Dowdle is probably above an RB3, but just like someone who's physical between the tackles and is okay only getting 3 to 5 carries a game. I wouldn't be upset with Love, but I would think that positionally you might have been able to do something different. But that's also looking at the roster as it's currently constructed. We might look at this completely different after free agency happens. And we're 3-4 days away from tampering. So we will see what happens. Tyler Olson, I mean, Scale is mad at Jeremiah Love. Tyler, my boy, is mad at Tate. So now I got to ask another follow-up here. Are you mad at a receiver or are you mad at Tate specifically? Because do I have to pull up All Reliable? Do I have to pull up the chart? I might have to do it to him if I can find where it even is. Don't make me do this to you, Tyler. If you're mad at a receiver, okay, that's fine. I can get down with that. There's logic to that. If you're mad at Tate specifically, I have created the chart to show that Carnell Tate looks like the best receiver out of all these guys. And if you guys haven't seen this before, I know I've shown it in a video before, but this is based on the career years of players in college. A guy like Jordan Tyson had his career year in 24. And these are the 24 numbers. So I'll wait for you to respond. In fact, I'm scrolling to see. I don't see anything from Tyler, but when I see it, I'll throw it up on the screen. If you're mad at a receiver, okay, that's fine. But mad at Tate specifically, I would disagree with you, and I would say Tate's the best receiving option in this draft. Let's see. Let's go back here. We need defense. Absolutely. We don't want to turn into the Bengals. If Love's there at 7 and someone has a boatload of picks to trade, I would trade. I don't think anybody's trading up in this draft. The Browns are probably the only team that might entertain him. Trading up early in the draft. Like top 10, I don't think anybody's doing it except maybe a team with the Browns. I think a lot of teams want to trade back and not many teams want to trade up. Do you think we'll sign the Titans center, Linderbaum, or use an in-house option? I'd spoken about the possibility of signing or transitioning Brandon Coleman to center, but some recent reporting has made it sound like he's going to be playing left guard, so certainly would sound like they're going to the open market. I just don't think Nick Allegretti is going to be the starter. So I don't know a ton about Cushenberry, who is the Titans center. So I'm not going to say that I want the team to sign him just because he's a name. I really don't know much about him. If you guys do and you think he's a good option, feel free to let me know. I know he's one of the highest projected earners on the market, which would imply that he is going to be there. I also saw about like 30 minutes before I went live that Connor McGovern is supposedly going to fetch a pretty big contract, and that's probably going to be influenced by Linderbaum. So I don't know where they're going to go in the center market exactly, because they had to have had a plan when they released Tyler Biadasz, but I don't know what that plan is. It doesn't immediately reveal itself. I don't want Tate at 7 either. Okay, let's see. Dusty, did you answer the question about a receiver or if it's just Tate? No, you didn't either. See, guys, I need to know, if you don't want Tate, is it because you don't want him personally or you don't want a receiver? Only way I'm trading down is if the Chiefs give us their 9th and 40th for our 7. Watch you and Rico, but I like Rio too. Dusty, you're always in here. You know I appreciate you being here. Can't just pick up infringing. I'm a guy, not just a run-of-the-mill. Running back guy is a dual threat. By one, I meant get a solid running back in free agency. I know Love is a very good high-potential back. It's just I don't think we're in the situation to grab him. Get that, 100%. We're still rebuilding. We are not that close. The 2024 second-round draft picks was crippling. It's an important year for those guys. For Mike, for Sinnott, for Jazan, it's a big year for them. I know there are more comments here, but I want to go to a super chat that we got from Light. Light has thrown a bunch of super chats in the chat before. Basically, every time I go to a live stream, every other time I feel like I can get something from Light. So, Light, you know I appreciate you, my friend here. I would draft Styles and make him play big nickel. Interesting thought here, because Styles was a safety for 2 years at Ohio State. Does he have that sort of hip flexibility at 6'5", 240? I think he's too big to do it all the time, but there could be some pretty interesting packages where you could get him out there. And like, if the team is in 12 personnel, right? And they've got tight ends out there and they split them out. Why is my hair? I need a haircut. I actually have one scheduled for Sunday. Sorry, I'm too obsessed with my own self-image, evidently. If they have tight ends split out wide, Sonny Styles is absolutely capable of taking those guys away. Or even if it's like a lower grade wide receiver, Styles can do some damage. Now, you don't want him running 40 yards down the field, but guarding the short, guarding the intermediate stuff, he's a safety. He's got coverage instincts. I showed a highlight reel of Sonny Styles, and there are a couple of plays where he was playing coverage, and he was just locking dudes up. Did I tweet it out? Because if I did, then I'll have it readily available, and I can show it to you guys. I'm looking for that right now. I see a Ruben Bain compilation that I made. What is this? Oh, this is an OA compilation I made. Do I have one of Sonny Styles? I swear I made one. I know that I did make one. Where is it? Is this it? I think this is okay. I found a Sonny Styles video. This doesn't look like the right one though. Apparently, I've made 2 Sonny Styles videos before. I'm giving this one final look, and if I can't find it, then I'm moving on. I'll be disappointed because I put a lot into that, and it was a really good little montage of Sonny Styles. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Damn. That's disappointing. I don't know where it went. Oh well. Sorry, guys. Just wasted a few minutes of your time. But to wrap this back up here, Sonny Styles is excellent. And if he's playing for the Commanders next year, he's just such a weapon. He can play on ball, off ball. He actually has very similar production as an edge rusher to Arvell Reese, who, of course, is moving to edge rusher. He has the safety background. He's going to be such a good NFL player. Grant, great job, man. Been following you since day one. I knew your channel would grow. My question, can we try and get both Alex and Aiyuk? I think we're talking about Pierce here. With Terry playing just this year and cut next year, Dave, dude, yes, you have been here for such a long time. Like people, oh man, I don't want to call people out one by one because I'm gonna omit somebody and they're gonna think that I'm snubbing them. So I'm not gonna do it, but I promise. All the day one people have been here for a long time. I know your names, I promise. But to answer the question, can we try to get Alec Pierce and Brandon Aiyuk? Well, absolutely. Absolutely, you could try to do this. Now, that is contingent upon Aiyuk getting an incentivized deal. Because if the cap hit is low, you can make that work. That's again, I said this earlier, but this is a part of why I can't really give you a full prediction. I can tell you it's feasible. I can't tell you if it's going to happen or not because I don't know what type of what type of contract Aiyuk is going to get. So it's feasible. It is possible. Do I think it's likely? I would say probably not. But maybe the Commanders say screw it and they make the swing. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Tate ran slow on purpose. I just don't think he's that fast. But I also don't know that it matters. And relative. Running a 4.5 is still fast. But I don't think he's a 4.3 guy, as we saw at the combine. But I also don't think it matters that much. Because the way that he stems his routes, great contested catch ability at 6'2". Don't think it matters all that much. He's not trying to be a burner. He's not trying to play like Alec Pierce. Hell no to Tate or any wide receiver in the first round, especially a slow one. Well, I kind of just talked about this there. But your feeling is your feeling, and you're more than entitled to it. Your opinion is your opinion. We need defense. That's why we're not in a position to take him. Offense can be mainly addressed in free agency. Later offensive picks is fine. There's a ton of safeties in this draft. Yes. Deepest position group in free agency, linebacker. Deepest position group in the draft, safety. No doubt about it. You will get, I tweeted this a couple of days ago, but you can go to the 5th, the 6th, the 7th round, and you'll find a guy who can be starting for you by year 2 or year 3. Cole Wisniewski, Robert Spears-Jennings. I don't know how far Bud Clark is going to drop, but he's another guy. There's just Bishop Fitzgerald might be a 2nd or a 3rd rounder. It'll be earlier, but point being, like, yes, Thieneman and Caleb Downs, obviously, and McNeil Warren might all go in the 1st round, but you could get so deep in this draft and get someone who's a really good player. So safety it's an awesome year to need a safety. Tate would be a dog with JD. I agree with that. I freaking love Tate. We have a good, reliable O-line, assuming our front office isn't totally incompetent. I doubt they'd have no plans for LG center. Terry's going to be good this season. Lots of serviceable running backs. Scale, got nothing to add to this. Tight end is also very easily addressed. Defense doesn't have nearly as much talent in this year's free agency. Jacob, we did speak about Zaire Franklin, but I appreciate you throwing it in there because I always appreciate the updates from the chat when I'm live because obviously I'm not looking myself. This is actually, I'm thinking about this, and this is true. Terry's the only holdover. So if this is his last year, next year would officially be the new era. Dusty says nothing to do with Tate. I wouldn't be mad at the pick. Just wouldn't have been mine to think I'm not a GM. Light must have a job. I got Light on payroll. Light is my guy. Our O-line still needs work at left guard and center. Coleman's playing left guard, I think. Short at tight end as well with wide receiver, then take the top off the D. Guys, I'm gonna go through these comments that I have here, and then I'm probably gonna start to wrap up a little bit. It's almost 8 o'clock, and I haven't eaten dinner yet. But I will see what we got here. Keep Bane away from this team at all costs. And then on the opposite end of that spectrum, honestly, I love Bane. I don't care who we draft. That's what happens. That's what happens with the combine. Some people see the short arms and they're completely scared off, and then others say, nope, still like him no matter what. Do not want Pierce at his price tag. I would be gladly wrong if we take Love and he ended up being the best running back in the league. We do need D, but if we don't keep JD5 safe, he may not last another season. We all know AP ain't going to overpay, that's for sure. All the reports say that he's going to be aggressive, so we will see. If he goes through, I've laughed off the AARP Adam stuff and things like that, the bargain bin shopping, because I've seen and I've known that it's always had a purpose, but the purpose doesn't exist anymore. So if we get through it this offseason and he doesn't spend, my tone with Adam Peters will change pretty quickly. Best receivers in the league now aren't the fastest. Most of them are 4.4 to 4.5. That is correct. Brain wants a linebacker secondary so bad. My gut wants Love. Your heart or your head, which one you rolling with? What RB should we get in free agency? My guy is Travis Etienne. I hear Janky Rondo now calling Bane short arms. He does have short arms. Third shortest arms in the history of the combine for a guy at the edge rusher position. We may need 2 safeties. Give me Chig from the Titans. That's my number 1 tight end target, Chig. Even when Kyle Pitts was theoretically still available, Chig was always my guy. Aiyuk equals trouble. We'll see. I'm pretty sure he'll be on the Commanders next season. Tressway and Duran. Oh, this is true. Who knows if Duran's going to be here, but Tressway is probably going to be the longest surviving one. Yeah, okay, we got historians here. We got people to call me out on when I'm incorrect. Lots of tight end options. I settle this. If we could draft Bailey, Styles, Arvell, Tate, Love, Downs, and Delane, we'd be in business. Well, yeah, if we could draft all of them, that'd be pretty nice. Jaden's 3rd year, AP has to spend 100%. I think there's a reason Alec was talking like that. He looks like an AP guy. That's the fireworks. Chig's tape looks amazing, extremely explosive. And then the last one here from Scale. All right, Grant, see you next time if I'm not working. Guys, that is how we're going to close out this video. Nice little hour, 20-minute stream or something like that. Guys, I really do appreciate you being in here. As always, we are going to have so much coming to the channel because legal tampering is coming up in less than 4 days. Free agency in less than a week. I can only imagine. This is basically going to become my full-time job during that span. And if we do well enough, maybe you guys can help me make this my full-time job one day. So, as always, guys, if you did enjoy, make sure you hit the like and the hype buttons. Whether you're in the live chat, whether you're in the rebroadcast, it gets uploaded as a video. So you guys can all chip in, hit the like button if you enjoyed. Make sure that you are subscribed as well. We're on the climb to 5,000 subscribers. Maybe we'll get there within the next month or so. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but appreciate you guys as always, genuinely. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun coming up here. Players joining the Commanders. Got to give a round of applause just because it's going to be just fireworks. That's what we were promised, fireworks. And if there's not fireworks, then there'll be fireworks from me and everyone else who makes videos. But anyway, guys, I'm going to head on out of here. Appreciate y'all joining me and I'll catch you in the next one.